Do you have any idea the percentage of detectives or criminal investigators that are women in this country?
Oh, it's got to be like 3%.
26.1%.
Oh,
All
it's better than I
detectives or
thought.
criminal investigators are women. And as you know, of course, this show that we're about to talk about, The Residence, is focused on a female detective. And I found that so interesting. I was really surprised by the number. I thought it would be much, much smaller.
Yeah.
At 26%.
But yet 26% is still not
It's
good,
still
though, right?
minuscule. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. But it's more than 3.
It's like whenever the first black president or first black baseball player, it's like they're celebrated,
so happy and it's 1.
But it's been 200 years, though. All right, let's start the show. Hey everyone, this is Luther Palmer.
And I'm Jobina Scott.
And welcome to One Episode Stand, a podcast here to help you figure out what new shows to watch and what to skip.
Now, you all are familiar with one night stands. You may even be having one right now. We are having one episode stands. Simply put, we watch and discuss the premiere of a new streaming show.
And then, like the Rolling Stones we are, we move on to another show. We love them and leave them. We hit it and quit it. We smash and dash, but we do it for you, the listeners. Jobina, we are going to get to The Residence, but tell the people what else you're watching.
I'm watching a series on Netflix, reality show, called The Later Daters.
And I'm going to guess that Later Daters is about people dating late in life?
Late in life. So these folks are in their 60s and 70s.
Okay.
Finding love, men and women. There is one guy, maybe he's in his late 50s, but they're all finding love either after divorce or the death of a spouse. And it's so interesting to watch because you of course, you know this to be true, but you see on display that everybody, no matter their age, longs for connection. And they are finding ways to connect in their later years.
So I got involved in a hiking group that skewed older. Okay. And a lot of the conversations were about being divorced after being married 30 years. Yeah. And they were dating and hiking and active, and it was interesting to watch these later daters.
Well, what's crazy about the show is that they have coaching. Like, they need coaching. So there is a woman who is a dating coach who tells them, like, here's how to show up in this situation. Here's how to stay curious about someone else. Right. Here's how to, like, not talk about your deceased spouse all night. Like, here, like, they
it's funny, but real. Like, that's real.
But serious, because it's like
the dating horizon has changed so much since they were like, do they know how to use the internet? Like, that's probably an insult. People are 65 years old.
They do know how to use the internet. They're using it. They're out there dating. They are longing for finding love again, which I have enjoyed. The show is
even
also
like dating protocol, right? That's changed so much since they were dating.
Who is 72? Like, she literally goes, like, her first date, she talks non-stop. Like, the guy's just sitting there like, wow, I'm not gonna get a word in edgewise, am I? And she's so not aware. Yeah. She has no clue how she's messed it up. And she's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're
so is someone recording them?
So
we're doing a whole episode on later daters, but now
we're
I'm
not.
super curious.
No, this is So
is someone recording their date?
Yeah, so someone's filming for the show, and then the coach is like watching it and being like, "Did you notice you did 90% of all the talking?"
Are both people on the date being filmed and discussed with, or is it they're following around a narrow group of people?
Yeah, they're following a narrow group of people. There's only one where both of them are on the show and they end up matched with each other. Okay. But otherwise, you are someone who they're matching them with, and you're on only as long as you date.
I'm trying to think if someone's like, hey, let's go on a date. I'm like, cool. Oh, by the way, they're going to be recording it. and in the middle of the date, I'm going to go get some coaching. To help me do a better date.
Help me do better.
I'd be like,
I don't know how to sign up for that. But people want to be on TV.
They do. They really do. Okay. Let's get to the Residents. Point. What do we know about the Residents?
Okay, The Residents is a Shonda Land production.
It is. I do forget that. I forget that. Yes.
Yeah. So it is. Of course, it's a whodunit. It's a bit of a caper in the White House. And someone
in the residence part of the White House.
The residence, right? Yes. Let me be clear.
Yes.
The residence part of the White House. Someone is deceased, and we've got to figure out what happened. The lead detective, the female detective who is the star of the show, is the woman who played Crazy Eyes on Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
So Uzo, can't remember her last name to save my soul, but she is the star of the show. Also on the show is she's the head usher, Susan Kelechi Watson, who was the wife of Sterling K. Brown on This Is Us.
That's right. I wasn't a This Is Us watcher, but when I did watch, I appreciated her scenes.
Susan is lovely. So this show is all about how.
But who else is in this show though?
There are a couple that I recognize.
Like what's the guy? Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
That guy, can we give him his flowers,
give it
please?
Up for him. Yes.
I mean, going back to Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
So good.
Like I've never seen him bad in anything. And he
test the time.
He like steals every scene he's in with his demeanor.
His presence. Yes. He's a man with
captures
presence.
A scene. So good for him.
Yeah.
But this also makes the point though. So it's not giving away anything to say that he dies in the very first scene. He is the body that's found.
Yes.
But this show has like 3 timelines. One timeline is the Senate trial.
Right.
Investigating what happened that night. There is that night. And then they go back to when Giancarlo was alive and how he interacted with the staff and things like that. So there's 3 timelines they bounce back and forth between.
Yeah.
Speaking of the trial, Al Franken is also in the
show. I loved it. I was like, okay, Al, this is perfect.
We got to talk about the Me Too movement because Al Franken was a victim of the Me Too movement.
Do you call people victims of the Me Too movement?
Oh, right. That's a good point.
I think your premise, sir, is off. Oh, my God.
He was found out to have grabbed a woman's breast.
He was a groper.
Which
he was
you should never, ever do.
Should not do. Don't do it.
That being said, Jobina.
Oh, dear.
The things that the current White House occupant has done, so far eclipse
all the way
what Al Franken did. Al Franken resigned. He resigned.
He had to.
It was a different. I almost want to say it was a different time, but no, we were living in the time of Trump when he resigned.
Yes. But he was there.
He's there.
Back. He's back. He has a job.
Okay. What did you know about the show before we picked it? So we know it's a Shonda Rhimes vehicle. I learned that it was not based on a book. Like the story wasn't based on this book called The Residence.
Okay.
But a lot of the details about how The Residence is run were included in a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a documentary, but like a book. What do you call it? A nonfiction book about the way The Residence runs. Okay. And Shonda Rhimes sort of took that information and created a murder mystery. That's what I knew about it.
Yeah, well, I was impressed with the numbers around how many people work there. I mean, the fact that the job is called head usher.
Yeah, that was weird for me.
That was so interesting.
We grew up in black churches.
In the church. Usher is a very different thing.
Were you ever an usher in church?
I was an usher. I was a youth usher.
A youth usher.
Deacons, yes. Get the young people involved in the church. I was a youth usher, replete with a very specific uniform, including the prescriptive request to only wear a black slip under your white shirt, black skirt combo.
So you have to tell people what a slip is because can you buy a slip?
No, just go into any department store and ask for a slip and see what happens. They're going to be like, I'm sorry, what? A slip is a piece of, it's not lingerie, it's more an undergarment that was used to prevent clothes from being see-through.
Oh, but the clothes were never see-through. Like this,
but they were lined. The clothes were lined.
The slip was an extra layer of Holy Ghost protection that's right. from the guard.
Lest you cause someone to stumble in your position as a youth usher.
The funny thing about slips is that when I was in graduate school, I worked. So there was this mechanics term called a spring-loaded inverted pendulum, right? Which had the acronym SLIP. So I would often go to the interwebs to type in slip, like slip model. And that was the other thing. The slip model
gives you something very different.
Completely different. So I would be at work like slip model. And they'd be like, here's a model in some lingerie.
Wearing a slip.
And I'd be like, oh, no,
not the
slip. But I did just Google slip, and you can buy a black slip to this day.
To this day. But you got to get it online. You're not going to get it in a store anymore.
Right. TJ Maxx is not selling
it doesn't have it.
Slips in this day and age. Okay. Look, sound, and feel. We talked about the timelines going back and forth.
I usually never like this question because I'm like, it looked dark, it looked bright, but I loved the way this looked. So there were some cool things that they did with, like, one, I loved the time lapse outside of the White House that took you from day to night. Like, it was just it's so unexpected. I love the sort of camera angle where you were following the camera up the stairs, down the hall, around the residence. Like, there were some cool things that they did with the look that I really liked. And it felt like you were truly on a tour of the residence of the White House.
They did. Really that was good. That was good. It was good. I would say, so Crazy Eyes has a quirk. Like, she's into bird watching.
Yeah.
And sort of like her character, of course, dominates the series. She's a lot to take on screen because of the way she's presenting herself. You kind of have to be into the quirky.
But it's so over the top. For me, it's more than quirky. It's so over the top that it's unrealistic. Like, I recognize that people present in lots of different ways.
Right.
But for her to be a female detective, top of her game, according to the police, the Maryland police detective, like, she is the best in the world, and she is just off-putting a little bit in the way that she acts. So I just thought it was a little bit overdone.
So this is interesting, and we're gonna get into themes. But here's a theme that is now coming up for me that I hadn't thought about before. There's a certain sense that she's over the top. But her over the topness is what makes her a good detective, right?
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes we mask ourselves at work or in a family or in any setting, right? Whether we go to church, whatever. And sometimes that masking prevents us from being not our full self, but our best self in that moment.
Wow.
And maybe there's a sense of, you go, girl. You know, yes. Like, you're
not too much.
She has tapped into this idea that this is how I have to be successful, and I'm going to be that even at the White House. So to us, it was like, lady, what are you doing?
Yeah, like when she was bird watching on the lawn. Right, while they were waiting for her to come in. Like,
right, there's been a murder at the White House, and she is like, binoculars out, bird watching at the lawn. It's like, what are you doing? But, you know, her bird watching is what helped her solve some of the cases. And
it makes her very observant.
Maybe it should be more of an empowering look at being yourself. Okay, what other themes did come up for you?
Okay, I don't know if this is a theme, but I feel like I have a talent for recognizing people from one show to the next, from one season of their life to the next. Like, I'll see an actor and I'm like, I know her. She played in blah, blah, blah. So couple of recognitions. One, the woman who discovers the body. She's screaming her head off. First, you only hear her, right? Then you see her, you see the back of her head. When she turns around, I am like, oh my God. That is Allie from Kate and Allie, which was an 80s TV show about two single moms who moved in together to, like, raise their kids and share expenses. And I was like, when is the last time she had a job? That's Allie.
I have watched a lot of 80s TV. I have never even heard of Kate and Allie.
What? Okay,
like, was it on like
Family
Thursday?
Ties
Like, was it like
era.
a nighttime?
Yeah, it was like a nighttime
I've seen
80s
every
show.
episode of Family Ties. I've seen Who's the Boss.
Look up Kate and Allie. Kate and Allie.
What?
Now, the woman who played Kate, I think, maybe she was Kate or maybe she was Allie. I don't remember. But the woman who played Kate was the woman who ended up playing Cagney on Cagney and Lacey.
I'm looking up Kate and Allie. I have never I've never heard
You've never
of
even
this
heard
show.
Of it.
Was it on like
popular.
religious TV or something?
No, it was not on like TVN. No, it's just a regular sitcom. Okay. Anyway.
Wow.
Next connection.
Okay.
The guy who's playing the police officer, he was on. Okay.
Yes,
now this is going to be an
Wire.
obscure. Nope. I mean, he probably was, but this is going to be an obscure reference. He also plays a police officer in the oh so famous, critically acclaimed Cocaine Bear.
Wait. I also have not heard of Cocaine Bear. What is Cocaine Bear?
Okay. And Cocaine Bear is actually based on a true story. So a bear, I mean,
What?
obviously it is a big stretch, but a bear, some like drug lords, whatever, they drop a whole like mess of cocaine in the woods. Like with the, like, of course they're going to go back and get it, except a bear gets into it. And this bear is high on cocaine.
What is going on?
This show is it's a movie. It's ridiculous. But as soon as he like comes into the scene, I'm like, I know you from Cocaine Bear.
I am so confused right now.
You're like, what direction did this take?
And you're saying this is based upon the events of a real life story?
Of a real life story, yes.
That there was actually a bear high on cocaine.
High on mauling people left and right.
And someone said, I got an idea. Let's make a
turn it into
movie
a movie.
called Cocaine Bear. Well, I know him from The Wire. He played, I guess he was a politician, but his famous tagline was, shit. He would say it just like, he must have said it 20 times in the series.
See, I'm not good at remembering lines from shows. I watched The Wire. I loved it. And then when it was over, it left me. It just goes. Yeah.
Like, I bet you on a almost daily basis, someone walks up to him and says, shit. And he's probably like, oh, okay,
he's so
thank
annoyed.
you.
He's like, whatever. It was 12 years ago. Leave me alone.
Thank you very much. Other themes come up for you.
So, of course, I mean, you started to get to it in terms of this woman detective and her showing up as herself in the world. But, like, to me, there is this overwhelming sense of like, I feel you, girl, when she is being mansplained to by the, like, sea of men who are telling her what to do and asking her questions and, like, trying to get her to focus on what they want her to focus on. And there's a point where they introduce the FBI guy, and she's just like, how many dudes do you need? Like, they're just, it was a good line. More it really dudes. Hit home because, of course, as a woman who is a leader, it can be challenging when you know what you're talking about and yet you have someone telling you what you just said or rephrasing it in another way. And it's just actually, I was very clear. I don't think anybody needed any additional explanation on that. So,
Jobina,
you know how that feels.
Have you heard, okay, first of all, yes, that is true. Men need to be careful about mansplaining. But have you heard of the other gendered response to mansplaining?
No.
It's called shelaborating.
I love it. And you know why I like it? Because I'm a shelaborator.
Are you a shelaborator?
I love adding as many details as possible. No. I think it just makes the story richer. It does. No.
But sometimes the shelaboration is about stuff that we just don't need that right now. Like not even storytelling. Sometimes it's just shelaborating about stuff. And you're just like, this is not a part of it. Yeah. Like we're trying to make a work decision and you're shelaborating about how the coffee was this morning. Like, what are we doing right now?
Well, women are observant. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. The other thing that came up for me was these people who work in the residence, they serve the president regardless of who the president is.
Sure. And
I was thinking, can you imagine working for the Obamas one day and then the Trumps the next day and then the Bidens and then the Trumps? Like I would find it hard to do that. Like it takes a special person, politics aside, just personalities.
Just personalities, yeah. But don't you think on some level, like they just tune it all out? Like it's their job. They're doing a job.
So in full disclosure, I have watched more than the first episode.
Shame.
And they talk about, they speak to the fact that they tune things out. Like you can't rely on them for like, what did you hear in this time? Because they're like, I go into a zone where I tune things out. But I'm not even talking about like literal politics. I'm just talking about personalities.
Yeah.
The personalities of, because remember with the Obamas, it was her mom and the kids.
And
so then they leave and then you come in with like the Trump family and his sons and it's such a stark contrast that has got to be difficult for them. I mean, of course you need a job. Everyone needs a job.
Everyone needs a job.
You got to work for you work
just
for.
Do it. Yeah.
But that like, wow. Any other themes for you?
No other themes for me. I mean, we're gonna get to in a minute what I thought about this show, so I'm gonna leave it there. No. Have
you ever found a dead body?
No. Oh my gosh, no. I think that would be the most horrifying thing ever.
So many shows start out that way that one can be led to believe that it might happen in one's life. Like when I'm jogging, like if I go out jogging in my neighborhood at night and I go into the park, I'm thinking it's crossing my mind. And this is another thing where this person just finds a dead body, starts screaming. Have you ever bird watched?
No, I have zero interest in birds. I mean, I have seen birds, but that is as far as it goes. I don't care about their behaviors.
Birds.
I don't care. I mean, I appreciate that they're here. However, so Uzo's character, the one thing she said about birds, it was the first time I maybe have ever heard anything that I thought was terribly interesting about birds, is she said that birds have an incredible ability to focus. So she said you would think that because birds, they don't ever have to look, they're never starving. They find food. You would think, birds must be really good hunters. But she says, no, it is about their ability to tune out anything that's not food. All they focus on is the food. And I was like, this is the first interesting fact I've heard about birds.
Really?
Yeah, I don't find
you don't even like the bird migration patterns? Like you don't find that fascinating how they can go from literally like Central America all the way up through Alaska in summertime and then fly back to the same tree almost.
Same spot. Good for them. That's great. Oh, no.
Or the swarms of birds when they move in the air and they're like going back and forth and it's very
a little bit creepy.
Now I will admit I do not like to be in close proximity to birds.
To a bird. What do you want to be near a bird for? Yeah.
But like from a distance, like look at those birds way over there doing that really cool thing I like.
No. Now, I will tell you the funniest thing I've ever seen a bird do. When I moved to Texas, my parents were shopping, helping me set up my apartment. It's very hot. Obviously, it's the summertime. And we get out of the car, and my dad goes, those birds are panting like dogs. And the birds were literally panting. It was so hot. They were hiding under cars and panting like dogs. And I was like, I have never in my life, I would never have guessed, but it was so hot. The birds pant. There you have it. There's a fun fact about birds.
I don't even know what to say about that. You know what? This is sad.
Add it to your list. Add it to your list.
It's sad that makes me wonder if there's also panting during bird sex. Like, are they?
No. They must be.
I had a bird my freshman year of college. Me and my friend would go down to the freshman dorm, and we would be out in front of the freshman girls' dorm because they were not co-ed dorms. We'd go down to the girls' dorm and just talk to women. We laugh, joke.
Yeah.
One night, a bird pooped on my shirt.
Oh,
Mid-conversation.
Mid-mac? Were you macking?
Mid-mac.
Oh,
Mac Daddy vibes. Well, I'm not going to say mid-mac because my freshman year I had no Mac Daddy skills.
No game.
But like I was trying. Mid-mac failure.
And bird.
The bird. And I was just like, well, good night, everyone.
Good night. Right? Good night.
Good night, everybody.
No, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
Shame.
Yeah. So a lot of these detective shows, like the person has a little bit of quirk. That's her quirk. Yeah. And again, like sometimes it's a little heavy-handed. Sometimes it's interesting, but that's her thing.
Yeah.
All right, more or less. What do you want to see more of or less of?
I'm going to try not to give away my one episode stand. Am I going to watch it or keep it? Maybe more or less of the show.
Oh.
I don't like it. There's nothing really grabbing.
But why?
So really
why? What's if Shonda Rhimes asked you, how could she improve the show? What would you tell her?
It's too kitsch. Like, I know that there are people who like that. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's too kitsch for me. And it starts off like maybe it wouldn't be that way. Like when Susan Kelechi Watson is testifying about the incident, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be what I thought it was going to be. And then enter Uzo, and I was like, no, enter Uzo. It is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So I would say, there's two types of whodunits for me. One is where when they reveal at the end, you sort of feel like, oh, they gave me clues that I could have gotten this. So the whole time you're watching it, whether it's a movie or a show, you're trying to figure out how it happened. Right. The other type of whodunit is they bombard you with so much information that it's literally impossible to parse it. But then that becomes the genius of the detective, that they were able to parse this information. I typically like that less because I like to feel like I could have solved this problem. And I think just seeing that there are 8 episodes, I know they're going to just bombard you with information. And they're going to have backstories, and they're going to have, everyone's going to have a motive, and everyone's going to have unaccounted for time. And so I'm like not looking forward to that type of show.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Okay, marry, kill, or one night stand. Who you got?
I have for you. I'm not gonna. I would give you Susan, but I mean, I already know the answer to that question. I'm gonna give you.
Wait, Susan? Who's Susan?
Susan is the head usher. The
lead
usher.
Sterling K. Brown's wife. And
Sterling K. Brown's wife, and This Is Us.
I would marry her, by the way, just FYI.
I'm gonna give you crazy. Yeah, you're not getting married to her tonight. You have a different
eyes.
You have a different wager on the table.
Oh, crazy eyes. I'm sorry. I cannot let go of her role as Crazy Eyes.
Yeah.
Every scene she was in this show,
man,
there's Crazy Eyes. Like, oh, look at Crazy Eyes solving a murder. You know, you go, Crazy Eyes.
Oh,
I just couldn't let that go. And just as a human, I cannot let go of her as Crazy Eyes. And like you said, in this show, she was presenting in a way that was her truest self. Right. It just wasn't for me. It was discomforting. Like, her presence was discomforting.
Discomforting, huh? Yeah.
And I think she was written to be that way.
To be that way.
Like the White House is a certain way, and here comes this person who's very different.
Yeah.
But it was just too much for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not taking a vacation to bird watch. I'm not doing that.
No, sorry, girl.
I'm going to give you, I think his name was A.B. I'm going to give you Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, Giancarlo.
Mm-hmm.
He has a certain je ne sais quoi.
He does, yes.
He does. So much so that I might even marry him.
Oh,
he stands the test of time. Like he does. He's been handsome at every iteration of himself in film.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and he just seems interesting. Like he seems.
Now,
like
what about his role in this show?
Really talk to.
What about his role? What about his role as the chief usher?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get a little bit of his life in this first episode. Now you're going to make me watch another episode so I can figure him out.
Your husband. You got to watch your husband.
I got to really figure out my husband. I've chosen this man. So I have to got to figure him out. I think he is going to be a really interesting character.
All right. I think we covered it. I think people have a good idea of what the show was about. Anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to One Episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast to be alerted when new episodes drop. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. The theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop. And we'll be back next time with another series premiere. Jobina, let's end on this. Every story has a moral. What was the moral of this episode?
I think the moral of this episode is that bird sex dogs is maybe something you might need to know about. There might be some panting. There might be some panting.
Oh man, now I have to Google it. I have to Google. Oh, I don't want to.
More than you ever wanted to learn about birds.
Oh man!
Right here on
we'll see you next time. We'll see you next time with a full update on the panting behavior of birds. All right, see you guys.
Bye, everybody.